All right, welcome back to Interviews with Friends and Enemies. I'm Angela Bern Castagnola, your host. Now we are back again for season two, our first interview with Maari Falsetto. Because the next question is, what might make someone consider you an enemy?
Mm, wow.
Mm.
It's such an intense word, and I don't really feel like I'm an enemy to anyone, but I think that there have been experiences where the course of a friendship has run its course. The season of a friendship has run its course. There's, you can be many things to different people, and when that time has completely matured, they move on. And maybe sometimes I don't want them to, right? Maybe sometimes I'd like to keep them in my life, but they're like, nope, this is time. Thank you. It's time to go. So I can't really imagine. I don't do harm.
Mhm.
And so I can't imagine being an enemy to anyone.
Yeah,
I can't imagine
right. In your relationships with others, there's a deep trust in
it.
that um, I will not be harmed if I take this person as a friend or if I give a part of myself to an experience with this person, the person being you, that I will not be harmed,
Yeah.
right? That may be maybe something that people get a sense of because that certainly isn't the case for everyone. So
Mhm.
everyone's answer to both of these questions is quite different, believe it or not.
You did spur another thought,
Good.
so I appreciate what you're saying. But the realization hit me many years ago that when I encounter people, it is in a form of namaste, which is a term that simply means, I bow to the divine in you,
Hmm.
which is a reflection of the divine in me.
Yeah.
And I think that's what people sense. That's what I feel. I feel like I can really connect with people on a deep soul level,
Yeah.
and I think people feel that,
Right.
and it feels good to be seen.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of it
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Which is why I can't imagine, because I've had some really challenging relationships and experiences and people in my life. We all have that. Um, and I have continued to be able to see the divine in those people, which has been
Mm.
hard for me when it comes to more complex relationships,
Yeah.
to actually let people go
Yeah.
when the time is to let them
You
go.
want to hold on.
Because I see the divine, and,
Yeah.
and I truly know and believe that we're all connected. We are all one. There is no distinction, although we're the unique, individualized expression of Angela and Maari.
Right.
So I think my greatest challenge was to be able to let people go.
Yeah. Okay, well, that brings us right into another deep question, which is when you think of yourself, and the distinction between these two for some people is much greater than the distinction for others. So for you, we'll find out personally. So I'm going to ask personally and professionally, right? So personally, what would you say has been your greatest success personally?
I think I'm actually starting to step more and more into my greatest success. And that is a real devotion to having co-empowered relationships everywhere in my life. And right now, there's big success with that with my children. So, yeah, as a parent, I mean, we go through such an incredible,
Could get more personal than that.
yeah, it's so true. I know when I was pregnant with my daughter, I remember I was in South Africa at the time, and what kept coming up for me was that this was like a Buddha in my belly, and that this little soul was going to teach me,
Yeah.
that I didn't own the soul. That was really significant to me. The soul comes through me, but I don't own
Yeah.
the soul. It's not a mini me.
Yeah.
That journey with my daughter started right away. But as a parent, it's
Yeah.
it's a challenge because we're constantly being called to grow and change.
Yeah.
And then you look at the times we live in. You're talking about pre-pandemic and post-pandemic, the things my children have had to live through and never lived through at their
Yeah.
age. So it's really having respect for them,
Yeah.
for their unique experience. and also being able to claim where I deserve respect
Yeah.
so that it's co-empowered.
So, personally, what would you say is your greatest failure? Yeah.
What comes to mind is a failure I had was inviting someone into my life who presented as a really great person, but actually was a covert narcissist. I had this revelation when I was in Egypt. It's part of why Egypt is so precious to me because when I went to Egypt, it was supposed to be to get engaged to this person. And this person did a full-on discard right before Egypt. And so I decided to go anyways, but I was devastated, as you can imagine, and devastated because I invited this person into my life with my kids too.
Oh, yeah.
So the damage and the destruction actually reached quite a radius around me and my kids. And when I was on the trip to Egypt, there were two therapists who, when I shared with them what had happened, because I was so confused, I said, "Have you ever heard of a covert narcissist?" And I'm like, "No." So there began a big journey of a lot of illusions in my life came down.
When was this? Just timeline.
This was in October of 2018 is when it all came down, and the trip to Egypt was January of 2019. And funny story was that I jumped into the Nile because I love being, when I travel, I love to be in the water. And when I was in the water, I was just like, this is after this revelation that I had invited this covert narcissist into my life, my heart, you know, my children's lives. And I was just letting it all go in the Nile. And later when I was home and I was sharing that with a friend, she said, "Oh, so you got out of denial." Which is a big part of being involved with a narcissist, is you don't really know you are involved with a narcissist. So that would be, I would say it was a personal failure, but the transformation and the learning that I have received from that experience, as well as my kids, has brought us into a greater revelation of truth for each of us. So
couldn't love that answer more. There are some great experts currently who are unveiling narcissism in all its forms in a very legitimate way, because so many people get affected by narcissists. So I love it that you brought this up. It's near and dear to my heart in a way. I guess I could say I wish it weren't. However, what is wonderful is that once you become aware, then not only are you aware for your own sake, but you can help others by acknowledging things that are really going on. Right.
That's a big piece. It's just having acknowledgement where you don't think you're crazy.
Exactly.
A big part of the gaslighting. But, you know, part of the healing that surprised me was it required me to go inside and find all the parts where I did not claim myself. I was wide open as a energetically aware, sensitive empath. I was wide open to have somebody come in and be kind of a prince or someone to save and pick up and give me all those parts of myself that I hadn't claimed. So my healing wasn't necessarily following all of the red flags. I started that way, but then I realized I don't want to be defensive in the world. I don't want to be saying I can't be with a narcissist. Why was I even attracting one to begin with? And that's where I went in and was really claiming parts of myself that I had not claimed before. So that has brought about this phenomenal sense of healing. And also sovereignty. That's where I found my sovereignty. And maybe it would have come, but I actually am grateful to the person and the experience, because to have my children watch their mother go through this experience and then arrive at sovereignty is, I think, a really a wonderful legacy and gift for all of us.
Yeah, definitely. Well, you hit upon another one of my favorite words, but we're going to have to save that for another time. Sovereignty. I want to move into professional success. What has been your greatest professional success?
Well, there's two answers to that. The first answer is I get so dialed in when I have a client or when I teach Kundalini or when I take people to Egypt or do a sound bath. And when I feel that my client or whoever it is that I am working with receives what they're ready to receive and releases what they're ready to release, I feel such joy.
Yeah.
And that is a success to me. I mean, my day could be terrible and I have 3 clients. And at the end of that, I feel completely different. So that's a big success. I would say the other answer to that is that I listened to a call and I manifested a physical 1,400 square foot space that was a gift to the community. It had 25 healers. And I'm so proud of that because it came from nowhere. It was literally me and Source collaborating and co-creating. And that was a big demonstration for me in how powerful it is to know, to listen and to believe and to allow.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So you have done something that I absolutely love in that we started out with sovereignty, then you talked about the call and receiving. So you've put a couple of things together that I love the marriage of, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So the sovereignty, and that doesn't mean we're all contained,
right,
and that we've got everything and don't need anything, and that connecting to something bigger, right, and answering a call, pretty magical.
Yeah.
Okay,
sure.
Sister.
Okay.
Going for the other end.
All right.
That sounds disgusting. So let's put it a different way. So what would you say has been your greatest professional failure?
Yeah, that was easy. That was like,
bring it.
I let my patterns run my business. And my pattern has been codependency. So, you know.
I love this. Take us there.
This is the real shit, okay? Yeah, so, you know, I didn't even know that I had codependency. But when I opened Inner Alchemy, my mission was to take care of everyone. Yeah. And it was so joyful and I loved doing it, but I didn't have energy left for my own practice. I didn't even start seeing clients until 2 years in because I didn't have time. I was doing everything everywhere else. And I loved supporting people and working with them to build their businesses. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it was this pattern of codependency. And so with that came the pandemic and the fact, you know, everything was changing. And I realized that all of this work was going online and I had a very expensive 1,400 square foot space. So I had to let it go, but I didn't want to. Yeah. That was devastating for me. I had custom built that space. It was gorgeous. And so that was, you know, and I felt like it was a failure. Yeah. And then I didn't know where I was going from there. I didn't know, I don't really orient really well online. I'm a very much in person, although I appreciate online. So at the time that felt like my biggest failure. And then as we're now 3 years out, what I have learned is that my pattern of codependency was a failure. But again, I would say I missed the mark or I learned because as Inner Alchemy is resurrected now, I'm different. Yeah. And everything is different. And the word co-empowered is the word that I really is at the center of my life. So whether that be with my kids, or with Inner Alchemy, with the community, with my family, that is the success out of the failure is learning. Wow, I'm really codependent. Okay, what does that mean? Right. How do I move through it? How do I release it? It's not easy.
Yeah, how do I transmute this
my goodness.
Co-empower?
Yes, because to do that, you have to let go of being attached to how people feel about you.
Oh, yeah. Okay, there's a great phrase like, what people think about you, you could say feel about you is none of your business. Have you heard that? Like, it's so good. So I'm going to steal co-empowered, but I'm going to give you credit for it whenever I talk about it. Because, I mean, it's just so simple, and I love it, and I love the transmutation of going from codependent to co-empowered. And I think co-empowered sounds as beautiful as the feeling when it's perfect of what makes you want to be codependent. Right. It's like co-empowered is the same beauty where each has the strength to be beautiful, and then you use what you've got together as well.
Yes.
You know, so anyway,
yes.
I love it. I love that. So, okay, Maari, we're going to move into some snappy fast food.
Okay.
All right. So I'm gonna now ask you some questions specifically designed for you, and you're gonna do your very best to answer them with one word. Okay. And as some people who might have watched the first 8 interviews know, that it's very hard for me to shave things down to one word. So I feel your pain if you're not someone who can do it easily, but I have faith in you. All right. So how did you like your first kiss? Come on.
Delightful. Sorry, I was suddenly there. I was like, my first kiss. I had to remember.
I know, right? You're like, when was that?
It was delightful.
What was your first boyfriend's name?
First boyfriend.
I'm taking you back.
Well, I first boyfriend.
Okay.
David Langmack. David Langmack.
Okay.
Was my first boyfriend.
Okay, good.
Okay.
So what was your daughter's first word?
Hat.
You were gone a lot. There was a hat.
No, she liked to wear hats.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. God or no God?
Oh, God, all the way.
Okay. Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Okay. Lizards or bears?
Bears. Yeah, big black bears. Yeah.
Ooh.
More on that later.
Perfect. Second interview coming up. Okay. Now, did your mom and dad talk to you about sex?
Dad, no. Mom and I. Is this a one word?
Yeah. What are you doing?
One word? I know. I'm like, wait a minute. How I
Did your mom and dad talk to you about sex? One word.
Both of them?
Did you?
Mom.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good
Kind
job.
of.
See, it's hard. It's hard. You could say barely.
Yeah,
That
it was
could be
like
one word.
we passed in the hallway and she handed me a book.
A note.
I was like, oh, okay.
She's like, do it.
I had a book called Good Girls Do that I found.
Cute.
Yeah.
Oh, I like it. I would have loved that book. I wrote that book. Okay. Now we're going to move into the end of the show.
Right. Okay.
Who'd you like to help?
So paring it down, because my
Yeah.
heart and soul want to help everyone and everything.
Exactly.
The first that comes to mind are our teens. I would really like to help our teens who have had
Teenagers.
a
Yeah.
terrible time through the pandemic.
Yeah.
With addiction, with loneliness, with I have a teen. I've watched it. I've watched a lot of devastating things, and so part of what I'm doing is becoming certified to teach Reiki. I'd like to teach teenagers Reiki.
How to do Reiki. Yeah.
And just open their world. So teens are really on my heart. Second one, I would say, I would describe it like this. This is going to take a few words. We are in a different era of humanity. We have moved from one age into another age.
Yeah.
And what I'm aware of is this great analogy that says that if humanity is a school of fish, down at the bottom of the ocean, there's a small opening, right? We're moving from one era into another era. That school of fish can't fit through that tunnel at the bottom, so it has to collapse down into a single file line. And some people are going to go through first, and others in the middle, and others will take up the end. And everybody plays a part in humanity's transition. Yeah. And so I want to be a place, a person, Inner Alchemy as a community where anyone on that spectrum can come and be met where they're at and be supported. Because it takes all of us,
Yeah.
helping all of us,
Yeah.
supporting all of us right where we're at.
Absolutely,
So
sister.
that's it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like the micro and the macro.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect. School of fish going right through. I like it. Yeah. So, how can people find you? How would you like them to find you?
My website is probably the best.
Okay.
Inner Alchemy TT.com. So that stands
Okay.
for Treasures and Transformation.
Aw.
And my website is being redone, but it's a great place to go to get a sense. And
Yeah.
then I'm also on Instagram as Inner Alchemy TT and Facebook as Inner Alchemy.
Perfect.
And those are probably the best places.
Best places. Okay, and Maari, is there anything that you need? Anything you would like to receive, either from anyone watching or just from the ether, from the source at this point?
Yeah, well, I think what I need is more connection with nature. It fills my soul so much. And I'm often thinking, gosh, if I only had a week or a day or 2 more hours in nature, nature really satisfies and fuels me. And another need I have is help in being seen, which is what you have offered me in this interview, because I have often been that person, the wind beneath other people's wings. And I'm really being called to step forward and be seen and be heard.
Yeah.
And that's not an easy thing for me to do. So thank you for giving me an opportunity. That is something I need.
Yeah. Oh, I love it.
And I'm sure I need more travel.
Yeah.
Which
that is on the horizon.
It is.
Especially another big travel to Egypt.
But I'll be doing them every year. Yeah. They're incredible.
Oh, they sound incredible. Okay, so we know where to find you. I have loved this interview.
Me too. Thank you so much, Angela.
Thank you, Maari. Thank you, everyone, for watching the first of what should be a lovely second season of Interviews with Friends and Enemies.